Hi there, I'm Tom Munro of Munro Home Inspections. I want to show you why it's so important to hire Munro Home Inspections for the purchase of your next home. When I inspect buildings, I make sure I inspect the parquet. What I'm looking for is any signs of a leaking parquet membrane on top of that superstructure. I'm also looking for seismic movement and traffic coatings and lighting. In this building, I've found some major problems that I'd like to show you what they are. Let me take you around and show you.
So when I stepped into the parquet, I immediately noticed these two vertical posts poured together, and in between them is actually insulation. You'll notice that joint between extends, and you can see there's concrete missing. And what this actually is, it's that where two buildings have been poured together, or two pieces of parquet, have been poured together, but there's considerable movement. You can see there that the white insulation is still there, but there's a 1-inch gap. And notice going past the pillars, the posts, look at the wall, there's a considerable amount of water coming down through the wall in a vertical crack and out onto the floor. And if you look really closely, you can see that water is actually running onto the floor. Now the water is actually percolating down through the crack in the floor and exiting the building, but there's a lot of movement, structural movement in these two buildings. So often when I'm walking through parquets, I'm actually looking down to see if there's any signs of efflorescence, which is that white chalky residue, and puddles. Puddles typically indicate a membrane leak above, just like that one. Why is it so important to walk around the parquet looking at the condition of it? Well, all these areas of exposed concrete have a rubberized coating or possibly a torch-on membrane above them. And when water gets in and past those membranes, it starts to affect the structure of the building. If you look closely right there, you'll see that the concrete has detached. And what that is there's structural steel inside the concrete. And when that steel rusts, it pushes the concrete off and starts to affect the structure of the building, much like it's done right here. Spalling is a very expensive repair to an unexpected first-time homebuyer or anytime homebuyer.
So now that you've seen two parquet superstructures that are actually separating at that joint, and you've seen a parquet membrane leaking causing spalling, which would lead to tens of thousands of dollars of repairs, you now know why it's so important to hire Munro Home Inspections for the inspection of your next home. I find tons of examples of things like this through my inspections, and I make sure my clients are aware of them. If you have any friends and family looking to buy a home, please pass along my contact information. I'm Tom Munro of Munro Home Inspections. With MHI, it's certified.